The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Fighting hunger on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden. We'll tell you more about the garden later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into controversial topics with them, so stay tuned. Lots of great guests, important information coming to you throughout the half hour. Where we want to start is a conversation with a good friend of ours who's been on the show many times before, and he does such great work in the community. Eric Aft, of course, the CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina. Welcome back, sir.
It's great to be with you.
Remind everybody of your mission and the service area.
Yeah, so we serve the 18 counties of Northwest North Carolina, providing food assistance through a wonderful group of 500 partner agency programs. This year, we'll probably distribute about 36 million meals through our programs and also direct distributions that we do, along with some workforce development activities.
How significant is the hunger problem in this area, Eric?
Yeah, it is tremendous, and actually over the last few years, it's gotten a little bit more challenging. 1 in 6 individuals face food insecurity, that uncertainty of where their next meal is coming from, as well as 1 in 5 of our kids. And to give you a little bit of context, it has gotten a lot more challenging over the last few years. Just if we go back 3 years ago, in March of 2022, we served about 35,500 individuals. This past March, we served over 78,000 unique individuals.
What are you doing at the food bank to adjust to and meet the challenges of the growing need?
Yeah, it's difficult, but we are investing more in food purchasing than we ever have. Over $4.2 million will be used to purchase food, but that's not a sustainable situation. We know going into next year, that number is likely to be sliced in half because of some government changes as well as just the overall economy.
So the government policies then are going to directly impact in a way. So that just means we need to all be vigilant about donations and things like that. Look,
Absolutely.
Give us an update on what you and your team and your folks and your partner agencies and friends are doing in Western North Carolina. Those folks still in recovery.
It's going to be a long time, and we know that, and that's why we're committed to continuing additional work. We're continuing our baseline work across the 18 counties, but we're also investing about $100,000 every month in additional food purchases.
Wow.
For the 6 counties in our region that were affected by the hurricane.
I think you sent me an email one day about something that right before spring break for kids, you had a campaign going on to make sure that the families got food from those students. What was that all about?
That's exactly right. We're providing a truckload of food in each of those counties. It's a little additional reminder that we are there for them as they recover economically as well as personally from the devastation.
Well, food is food, and you know, I know that you've always preached about how important nutrition is. I assume that's still a priority of yours, and if so, what are you doing about that?
It is a cornerstone of our work. We want people to understand how to use food as a tool for health. You know, food is foundational for all of us, but again, we've got to make good choices as much as we can, but also provide access. So our nutrition team is doing a lot through mobile distribution of produce and that type of thing, as well as we get into summer, a lot of education for kids about how to use food well and how to prepare themselves healthy snacks. And we do that all throughout the year, but as we approach summer, it's a big concentration.
In just a moment, when I put up a website, I want to make sure that a lot of people at home understand when we do that they're not supposed to call or come to you to get food directly.
Right. We can go to our website for a food finder, and we can direct folks to one of our great partners. But really, that website is all about how to get involved otherwise. Come volunteer with us. That is critical to our mission, as well as if they're called to do so, we'd love to have donations provided as well, and it is critically needed at this time.
Absolutely. Volunteers, donations of all kinds, monetary and giving your time. Up on screen, Second Harvest, NWNC, which stands for Northwest North Carolina. That's Second Harvest, NWNC.org. Eric Aft, I can't tell you how much we appreciate not just you being here today, but what you do for so many people 24/7. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jim.
We'll be right back after this.
When storms hit, we're here for you. With new grid technology that can reroute power to avoid outages, and better communication to keep you in the know. And as we transition to a cleaner energy future, we'll still be here for you, keeping your costs down even as we work to expand renewables and explore new energy sources. We're Duke Energy, and we're building a smarter energy future for you.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years. And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Back now on Triad Today, always glad when we can spend a few minutes with our friend, Sheriff Danny Rogers of Guilford County, the Honorable Sheriff Danny Rogers. Good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you as well. Thank you.
In what ways does your office support inmates when they get out of the detention center? And the reason I was asking that, because you sent me an email one day about it, got us both to thinking about it. What happens there?
Well, we try to prepare them before they exit. Jail diversion, we have a jail diversion program that's tied in with our reentry program. So we want to make sure whatever treatments they're receiving inside our facilities, that the treatment continue on when they exit the facilities. But that's where we need more stakeholders and more people to be engaged, family members to help them get to where they need to get to, and to take the meds and the classes that they need to have.
Now, you mentioned something a second ago. You said, and the jail diversion program. So you mentioned reentry program and the jail diversion program. Just help people understand, what's the difference there?
So the reentry piece of it is that we'd like to prepare people to be able to reenter back into society, where they become more of a success piece to the area that they're from or they're going to live in. The jail diversion piece of it is when they're exiting out and they continue the services that they've been receiving inside our detention centers.
All right, now you mentioned, let me double back, you mentioned services. What kind of things does the Reentry Council sort of provide to individuals once they leave? I mean, how are you all helping them?
Well, we work closely with GC Stop, where we're trying to make sure that those that have been dealing with addictive issues continue to have the medication that they need to have to stay off of the narcotics. We make sure that they have housing, try to get them housing, jobs, try to make sure they have the food.
So if they have maybe if it's an older inmate, even if they have problems, say, look, I don't know a whole lot about computers, or I'd like to get a job or whatever. Is there somebody around in your team that sort of helps guide them, or what?
Yes, so with our reentry program and jail diversion, we have a office that we're located in High Point, and they actually can go there and help receive some teaching.
Now, who qualifies for participation in these programs? Is it every single inmate who can sign up for this, or is it just a certain group, or what?
No, it's not a certain group. We try to make sure that everybody that's ever been incarcerated, from prison to the local jails, have a way to be able to participate in our reentry program.
What kind of positive impact do you think this not just can have, but is having already? How would you assess what's going on?
In the past several years, I've seen our reentry program and jail diversion really pick up, where people have become more motivated about doing things that need to be done to help them move forward in life. I tell people, young people do what young people do. They have to be mature and have the help to help them get to the next level. So,
yeah. How does, these programs that you're doing, obviously you're helping folks who are coming out and trying to reintegrate into society. But a lot of people will be watching and say, well, Sheriff, what should I care about this? I don't have anybody in my family that's been in jail or whatever. How is what you're doing with these inmates helping the whole community?
Well, my philosophy is this: everybody knows someone that needs help. And if it's not you personally or your family member, you know somebody. But if you live long enough, I believe you're going to have a family member, someone that you're going to really have to reach out to help out.
Right.
You know, and it's unfortunate, but it is fortunate that it happens.
And you're helping these folks become more productive as they get out, and that helps everything. Employers appreciate what you're doing, and helps the tax base and everything, right?
It does. We want to not recreate the wheel, but we want to strengthen the wheel where the people are more productive and being able to feel better about themselves.
Absolutely. Up on screen, this is a long website here, but guilfordcountync.gov/government/sheriffs-office. We hope you will check that out, see what all is going on with the Sheriff's Department, all the great programs that they are doing. The Honorable Danny Rogers, Sheriff, Guilford County, thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire. Back now on Triad Today. Always glad we can spend a few minutes with the good folks at Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. Visiting with us now is a first-time visitor to the show. And he's traveled all over the country. He's, an Air Force brat, I guess you'd say. That's right. I'm just a brat. I don't have any. Dion Carter is Vice President of Mission Advancement for Goodwill Industries in Northwest North Carolina. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Why is May a special month for seniors? Because you sent me an email and you said, Jim, talk about May. Why is it special?
So it's Older Americans Workforce Month. And so this month is a focus on individuals who are senior citizens and are re-entering the workforce.
Are we seeing a lot more of that now? What's the trend that older people wanting to get into or back into the workforce?
So yes, over the last year, we've seen an increasing trend in older Americans wanting to re-enter the workforce for various reasons. Inflation can be one, supplementing their income could be another reason, but just making sure they're connected to individuals and have disposable income to enjoy the latter part of their lives.
Well, what are some of the obstacles or challenges that senior citizens might face trying to get into or back into the workforce?
I see one of the biggest obstacles we see through the work we do at Goodwill is the tech literacy. So older Americans may have been disconnected from tech and the upgrades in tech literacy over the years. It is changing very rapidly with the introduction of AI. It proposes a whole new component to tech literacy.
Yeah, I'm an old guy in my 70s. I thought it wasn't AI, I thought it was A1, and they were going to give a class about steak sauce, so I'm all messed up. But anyway, now how are you doing this? Are you offering courses for seniors or classes, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have programs specifically for older Americans, older workforce around the use of smartphones, connecting them to literacy programs, connecting them to resources to help with those tools and resources to make them more efficient in using those products.
Yeah, so in that regard, you guys are almost like job counselors, almost like counselors in general, helping people try to get on track. Do they ever ask for advice, and do you ever help to steer people into something that might help them?
Yes, so our career navigators, our team members who work within our career resource centers can help individuals develop career and education plans. They're really focused on making sure where they ask the right questions. So the first question is, how can I help you? And then based on their response and what those needs are, we connect them to those resources, those programs and services to benefit them. Career portfolio of services are really things we focus on around online profiles, resumes, cover letters, and making sure, again, they have the appropriate tech skills.
Yeah, and here you are, a young guy, and if I come over to you and I'm in my 70s and say, hey, Mr. Carter, can you help me with a job? It's almost like, I guess sometimes people are reticent to ask for help, but you're right there for them, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Our team is focused on making sure we provide appropriate resources, supports, and helping them navigate all the different abundance of resources in Forsyth County.
I'm going to ask you a personal question since you and I just met, because I can sort of see something in your eyes there. When you're working with this kind of thing, especially with seniors and other populations, what kind of gratification do you get from doing your job?
So this is personal for me. Again, it's my call, my thing of giving back to individuals within our communities. And we want to make sure we're supporting each and every individual who needs that support and services. It only makes our community stronger. It gives you that personal gratification to see individuals grow, develop, and blossom, regardless of what stage of life they're in.
Do you get that sort of dedication to want to serve from a parent, grandmother? How did that come about?
So my grandparents have been very influential, as well as my parents, in making sure I give back. We have to again, move things forward. We have to make sure we help individuals who need that support. It only makes us stronger, and then it allows them to help individuals that maybe come behind them.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. Up on screen, Goodwill, NWNC, which stands for, of course, Northwest North Carolina. That's Goodwill, NWNC.org, where you can learn all about the different programs that Goodwill is offering and check out some of the information about what Mr. Carter was talking about. Thanks for everything you're doing to help so many people. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you for your time today.
We'll be right back after this.
Spartans are the teachers, artists, nurses, scientists, and leaders who build our communities.
Back now on Triad Today, and I'm with two lovely ladies who do such good things for so many families in the area who need them. And I'm with Christy Bird, who's been on the show many times before. Christy's Director of Patient Advocacy for Mountain Valley Hospice, and Kelly Tolbert Holbrook is a community educator. And she's sort of like a special guest since, Christy and I have done this so many times before. Christy, let's get right to it. You guys sent me some emails about special kind of care going on and whatever. So why did you bring along Kelly as the special guest for this?
I brought Kelly along so she could talk about a new program that we've been doing almost a year now. It's called A Positive Approach to Care. Okay. And Kelly has really been the leader of this, has gone through the training, and just excited to be starting a new program.
Now, what does that mean? It sounds sort of generic, but it is very targeted. What is positive? What does that PAC mean? What does it mean?
Positive Approach to Care, and it is directly related to folks who have dementia.
Okay.
And most people think dementia is Alzheimer's.
Two different
things.
Right.
Dementia is the big umbrella. There's 120 different types.
Now, within this, I think one myth is that people say, well, we can get help from Mountain Valley, and they'll send over some people, and they'll help us. But we sometimes forget about the caregivers, the family, the loved ones. So if it's my mom or my wife or somebody that has dementia, why is this program so important to them and the approach you're using? How does that help caregivers?
It gives them skills to utilize. That's a hand-on positive approach that makes caregiving easier. It's more about the relationship. It puts the person first. And by doing that, it makes the daily task easier.
Right. So are you sort of training caregivers?
Yes, I'm training caregivers, hospice staff, facilities, senior centers, anybody that wants to know anything about dementia and this new positive approach.
Why is it so important for families to understand more about dementia? Because again, you already said it gets confusing with terms and things, but why is it important as a loved one or a support system to understand more about it?
Because the care partner needs to know the whys of why the person's brain is changing, and then once they know that, they can interact in a more positive way, which makes the relationship a lot better.
Give me a tip just one tip maybe for a caregiver who has a loved one diagnosed with dementia. What's something that you might be telling them to look at?
Don't argue with them.
Don't argue.
No. You're not going to convince them, so don't argue with them. Go along with them.
Because they don't know.
Get in their reality.
They don't know.
They can no longer get in your reality. They don't know.
Okay.
And you can argue till you're blue in the face, and they're still not going to know.
Man, that's got to be hard because you love this person and you've known them a certain way, and now you need to relearn how to work with them and care for them. I think that's so important. I think the two of you have got some workshops coming up. Isn't that right, Christy?
We do have some workshops coming up, and they're all listed on our website, and they are for our community at large.
Right. Since Christy and I have known each other a long time, Kelly, I'll ask you a personal question.
Okay.
What gratification do you get from working with this program?
My mother had late onset. And I worked in a memory care unit for a year, and I fell in love with these little folks that other people could do nothing with.
Yeah.
And I realized then, even before I had any training, that it was all in the approach. If you take the time to get their attention and you approach them in a certain way, you can get them to do things that other people can't.
Yeah, right. And even though you're training people to know more, to be better caregivers, always, don't hesitate to ask for help, because that's what your team and staff are there for.
Absolutely.
Don't try to do it all yourself.
Absolutely.
Up on screen, let's look at Mountain Valley Hospice. So the abbreviation is mtnvalleyhospice.org/events, which will tell you exactly about some of those workshops and some other things going on. Please check that out. Ladies, thanks for all you do for folks.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com.
Banking is like going for a swim. You don't need all the complicated stuff, but you don't want to feel exposed either. At Truliant, we give you just what you need, so you can manage your money on the go or stop by a branch whenever you need to. It's all about having options, while also keeping life simple with low rates, free financial advice, and friendly faces. So check out Truliant. We have just what you need.
Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden, and now a shout out to these three great folks on my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, and the great broadcaster, and I just love her to death, Rosemary Plyman's here, and in fact, Dave wasn't going to come until he heard Rosemary was going to be here. Dave Briggs, Mr. Theater, we call him. Okay, let's get to it, guys. The U.S. Postal Service wants to raise the price of a Forever stamp again, this time to 78 cents. That's a 7.4% hike at a time when the average American salary has only gone up by 4% over the last 6 years. You okay with this proposed hike on the stamp, or, and this is an and/or question, do you think that things like that, whether it's Medicare or stamps, ought to adhere to the same thing as cost of living? In other words, it only goes up so much. What do you think, Ogie?
Well, I think post office almost is a different case than just raising it with the cost of living, because they're under so much stress right now, and have been for a while, that, I got Forever stamps when they were 53 cents.
You still have them?
Why didn't you stick? Yeah, I still got them.
What do you think, Rosemary?
That was a good investment.
It was.
I mean, it was. I'm going to be doing postcards this year at Christmas.
Yeah. Are you okay with the rate hike?
I mean, they have to, right? That's all they have. But I do think it's going to make people cut back more and more, which is just going to make the prices go up.
Dave?
Well, I had two family members who were postal employees. I do think it's exorbitant.
All right. Ever since 2007, the Innocence Commission has provided an avenue of appeal for inmates who have been wrongfully accused of crimes. Darrell Hunt was the famous case of that that helped get it started. To date, the commission's reviewed 3,000 cases, managed to get 16 innocent people out of prison. Now state lawmakers want to cut funding for the commission. Good idea or bad idea, Ogie?
I don't like that idea at all. I mean, it sounds like a lot, 3,000 versus 16, but that's 16 people still that were locked up unjustly.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is money well spent, and that we need to have programs like this.
Yeah,
and I agree with that. But since 2018, the state has dumped almost $30 million into a program. So it comes out to $1.6 million for every person who was confirmed innocent, and only about $9,300 per inmate who was actually who had their case reviewed. I think they probably need to reduce it a little bit and try to get those numbers a little closer.
All right. 8 states are now seeking to enact laws that would make it illegal to purchase soft drinks with food stamps. Health czar Bobby Kennedy Jr. believes that the government should not be letting people pay for sugary drinks, which he says are unhealthy. He doesn't want the government paying for that. Would you like to see North Carolina prevent people from buying soft drinks with food stamps because soft drinks are unhealthy? Ogie?
No, actually, I'm going to give people a pass on soft drinks. I think sometimes you just need a Pepsi. You just need a Pepsi.
What do you think, Rosemary?
Well, yes, I think that that is way too much in people's personal lives. And if we don't want government, mandating every little thing we do, we have to give people some freedoms.
Right. Dave?
Well, I think going out and buying sugary drinks and salty snacks that aren't good for you, using money that is designed for you to bring healthy food to your family, I don't think that's a good idea.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point, and then apparently that's what the legislators think. Now, in order to assure safety of visitors, a national park in Italy is now fining people $2,800 for not wearing proper shoes when hiking along its craggy rocks and slippery trails. They've had to rescue just hundreds and hundreds of people getting hurt on that. Now, here's the question. Would you like to see North Carolina parks issue fines like that, $2,800 fine for wearing the wrong shoes, and be more proactive in preventing accidents if people have the right apparel? Ogie.
No, I mean, there's a way to make people, I mean, if you're an idiot and don't know any better than to wear good, appropriate shoes while you're out on a craggy cliff,
Got a $2,800 fine?
I mean, it feels a little bit like the sugary drinks thing, seriously, for me. Like, it's, again, just, you know, if you want to do that, then this is your choice. Also, we don't have the people to be watching over and you know, checking everybody's shoes.
And I assume what they were doing in Italy, Dave, was that, you know, once you came, you know, if you had to be rescued or whatever, and they looked down and said, oh, well, you've got flip-flops on.
Right.
Now we're going to charge you for the rescue.
That's right.
What do you think about fining
Who's going to
people?
enforce it?
Right.
I mean, truly. Are they going to have
Rosemary's gonna
a bunch of shoes in cubbies that folks say, oh, yeah, I get my Hokas from here.
All right. State lawmakers are making the Andy Griffith Show the official TV show of North Carolina, but there were a lot of critics of that bill that did that. They said that we should have honored a show that younger people can identify with. Maybe it's not a major point, but what do you think, Ogie?
well, as a proud member of the Andy Griffith Rerun Watchers Society,
right.
I am all in favor of it, 100%.
All right, Rosemary.
I mean, I like it. It doesn't really mean anything to me. It just feels like it was just something to spend some time on that maybe everybody could agree on. And if that's something, if we can agree on one thing, then okay, let's go.
Yeah, as much arguing as goes on up there. It's good that Dave, what do you think?
What a waste of time. I think Beverly Hillbillies should be the California TV show. All in the Family should be New York. Hawaii Five-0 should be Hawaii. Yeah, sure, let's do it.
All right.
Why not?
I think Triad Today should be the official.
There you go.
Right.
Yes.
And finally, People Magazine reports that an increasing number of men are asking their girlfriend to purchase her own engagement ring if she makes a good living. Guys and gals, do you think it's okay for women to pay for their own engagement ring? Okay.
Well, I mean, I know we're moving more and more toward total equality, but I think you got to really draw the line. I think the guy should buy the ring for crying out loud.
I mean, I might surprise you on this because, you know, I think split the cost, you know, it'd be an investment together. I'd be okay with that.
Well, where were you 20 years ago?
I know. I did not buy my ring. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, Dave.
I think there are going to be a lot fewer people getting married.
Yeah, I think you're right. Mm-hmm.
Boy, I got to talk to my wife after this show. All right, well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. This is a true story. A man in Maryland was looking down. He had this severe itch on his hands. He said, oh, man, this is killing me. He runs into a convenience store. Supposedly, he's going to buy some medicine for that, but instead, he looks around, sees a lottery ticket, spends the money on those, and he won a jackpot on that. Now, that proves that the best cure for an itch is a scratch-off.
Ooh, I like that.
What do you think?
Not bad, not
For all of
bad.
us here, Try Today. I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.